All right.
How are you?
I'm good. I'm
Oh, I
good.
hear
I'm
an echo.
excited. The pool is finally done. Yeah,
I cannot wait to jump in.
I know I'm gonna have you guys down. Hey, Aaron,
Hello.
how are you doing?
Great. Great show. It was
Oh,
so
it was. It
interesting to
was so
start.
much fun, wasn't it?
Yeah, I'm excited to see Bevy.
Yes, yes. We're not sure. Hopefully, she's going to be able to make it. She's got a potential conflict because she's got an engagement happening. But if she can join us, she definitely is going to pop in. Hey, where's Cheryl? Have we heard from Cheryl? I know she was in the chat.
Yes, she was in the chat. I see some text messages. This is Kurt, though. This is the Twitter with
She'll
Gabrielle
probably
Union
won't
and
find us.
Dwayne
Well,
Wayne.
while we're waiting on Cheryl, 'cause I know we got our folks jump in. Hi, Amy. I know you're really good at this part, Aaron, is keeping up with our guests as they're joining us.
Yes,
Uh,
I see the comments now. Yes.
Good, good. I for whatever reason, oh, you know what? Maybe I need to click over. I'm trying to see why can't I see them? Okay, now I can. There we go. I finally figured that out. So, did you guys get a chance to check out the interview on Twitter? It was a brief interview on Twitter with Dwayne Wade and Gabrielle Union, talking about just being a parent and so on and so forth. Um, as we all know, for those that don't, I guess that they have a trans daughter, and they have really gotten a lot of positive support from folks in how they have managed and embraced and supported their daughter in this process. They have a young daughter. I don't want to misquote her age. I think she's 14, but I could be mistaken. But anyway, I was curious, particularly. I know the trans community is, very near and dear to your heart, Aaron, and you've often talked about yourself some of the challenges in being accepted, as a gay man growing up. What is it like to hear that interview and see Gabrielle and Dwayne discuss their daughter?
I wanted to give him an award,
Hmm.
and I was thinking, can they open up a parenting school? I mean, I was so moved. It is just so incredible to hear that perspective. I just don't ever hear it.
Hmm.
That level of acceptance as a black a heterosexual black man to say it doesn't matter.
How about you, Chris?
Well, I didn't get to see all of the interview. I just kind of heard stories around it, sort of after the
Hmm.
fact. And so I think for me, I'm not surprised by his sort of connection
Are you getting an
and
echo,
I think
Chris?
I'm hearing
Are
an
you
echo.
hearing
yeah,
that
I'm not
echo?
sure if it's yeah,
Okay.
I
That's
don't know where the echo is coming
okay. It went
from.
away. I think. Go ahead.
Hello?
Yeah, go
Okay.
ahead, Chris. It's gone. Go ahead.
All right. So I'm not sure if that is I mean, I guess with me, I think that I kind of appreciate the fact that there is some recognition that there is some comfort with the idea of this scope of sexuality being a bit broader. And I know that's something that Aaron talks about a lot of the times is that the idea that there is this sort of wider scope. And I think that which is why I love the Kinsey theory and I love the movie Kinsey because it kind of explores a little bit of that where somewhat like um politics where you've got far left and far right, but most people are not extremely left or extremely right, that they fall somewhere in the middle. I feel like sexuality is somewhat like that as well. And that as people kind of explore that you may still be and exist as a heterosexual while still having some ideas or interests that may not necessarily fit a far hetero spectrum, and then vice versa. So that where you may be kind of homosexual, but then there's still some things, because you have some gay guys, for example, who have never ever had sex with anyone of the opposite sex. But then you've got people who where they explored and decided that no, I this is not for me. So I feel like that there's definitely this wiggle room of exploration, and I think that that's kind of where some of the extra letters are coming into place, where people are kind of trying not to over-identify because they want that latitude of where could I possibly fit in, and wherever I can fit in, then that's going to be the place for me. So I think that that's what I liked about it, was that there was some authenticity around the fact that this doesn't define who I am. It's just something I'm sharing as me exploring as a kid.
Cheryl, how did you feel watching this episode?
I loved it. It was just great. Feel warm, just a lot of information, a lot of tips for parents, just great.
Cheryl, before you popped on, we were talking about the Dwayne Wade, Gabrielle Union interview that was on Twitter. And it made me think about, it was a very similar message. I think Bevy epitomized on this episode a lot of the same sentiment around support, and really how as parents, you're there for your child. And I think that in contemporary society, we're seeing a couple in Gabrielle and Dwayne who are really exemplifying that support for their child. And while we were talking about sexual orientation in the episode, in this case, we're talking about gender when we're talking about Gabrielle and Dwayne's daughter. And I think that's that frontier that society is finally tackling in a different way, and even beginning to understand the difference between gender and sexual orientation, because a lot of times, because of the letters, etc., people kind of clump it all together. And I think one of the things that we get to do on our show is help people parse out some of those nuances and understand the differences around those things. So that's really exciting. With it being, the eve of, well, not the eve, but the weekend eve of Mother's Day. And we talked a little bit about our mothers on the show tonight. Aaron, I was wondering, we didn't get to go that deep into it on the show, but now that your mom has had an opportunity to check out the show, and like, just where is that like, what is that like for you? Like, where are things and how's that going?
And I just want to say, Aaron, feeling that outfit. You
Got this
all
weekend.
y'all looking good.
Thank you, Cheryl. So are you, darling.
Thank you, baby.
Yeah, I have to say that I'm happy with where I am. And where I am is I stopped, I hate to say this because it sounds kind of callous. I stopped caring. I stopped needing or seeking approval, acceptance, affirmation, all the things that I thought I wanted from my mom. I had to just accept that I'm not going to get them, maybe. Mm-hmm. And that has to be okay, because walking around wanting something and not getting it hurts. Mm-hmm. And so I walked around with that kind of inner turmoil all the time. And so now I have, thanks to the show, I have my own place. I have, the need for me to go back to my mom for help. I don't even want to go back for help. I feel independent. I want to thrive as an individual adult. And I want to help my mom financially when I can, but I don't need her validation. I don't need her to watch the show. I couldn't care less.
I'm telling everyone, at this point, I'm living the fairy tale, and who watches it, who doesn't. But when you become what I understand, as far as I love you for saying, what you're not, you may get maybe, but it comes a point in life that you want to love those who love you. And the ones who are drowning in their pain and addicted to their own hatred is not a part of your existence. It's like, I'm not addicted to being abused. I'm down with the ones that feel me. When the ones that don't, that's fine. But as far as to continue in action and being what they want me to be, it's not going to happen. So here I am with a new tribe and gathering the new energy and feeling fantastic. This may be the first Mother's Day that I do not call my mother. If she doesn't call me, I'm not calling her. That's a big step for me. Yeah.
So, Erin, when your mother, she saw that episode where you wore the dress, because that was a big deal for you. You know, you were able to borrow a dress from her for the opening episode. After her seeing you in that, dress, after you seeing, how was that?
Yeah, I haven't had a conversation about it. Like, we just don't talk about the show. The happiest I heard her was when I said, "Oh, I just deposited some money into your account."
I can relate to that.
Right? And so I understand that this is what makes her happy. I can provide that, when I can. And I'm going to focus my life energy on living the best life I can live. I just, the need is not there. I don't need it anymore.
You said something about not, really not needing that and not caring. And, it made me think of, oftentimes we find ourselves having to get to that place where we just don't care. And there's something about the parent-child relationship where at our core, there's a part of us that really always cares somewhat. So what I like to offer to people when they're at that place of, I don't care, because I think that feels good for a period of time. But if you embrace this idea of, do I care? Of course I care, but not enough. Not enough to have it disrupting my life, not enough to have me stressed every day, not enough to be trying to get this thing. So it gets to, have both of those things be side by side without it being disruptive. So I just wanted to kind of offer that, Erin, as a way to maybe look at it. Not that you have to care, but of course we want whatever it is that we want, just biologically and naturally through that dynamic of child and parent. And we don't always get it. And we do have to come to a place of peace and acceptance with the circumstance. And it does free you. And you talked a bit about the freedom on the show tonight. And I think that's really awesome.
And I'm glad you said the show, because I knew that there were people that, this show has really flushed out the ones that were even hiding in the shadows. It's like this show has made people, the only way I can put it in my environment, the people have known me, and they've had a nervous breakdown. It's almost like a meltdown. But the other day, my mother called right after the show with Imani, and she says, that was a great show, because parents can only work with what they have. I was like, true. That's the truth, Mother. And she says, you need to stay away from the gray wig. I said, that's blue. And she said, oh, it's blue. Well, I didn't let you color your hair till you were older. I was like, yes, I know. And so then she hung up and called back, and she said, Cheryl, I just had an aha moment. I said, what's that, Mother? You've achieved your dream. You're on a show, Cheryl. You came here to do this, and you've done. I said, yes, Mother, I have. So I love my mom. She's got to work it through. But right now, I am full with love and filled with joy that can only be found internally. Happiness, eat a meal, and you'll be happy, but it's fleeting. What I got is joy, and there is no one on the face of this earth that can ever take that from me. And I'm going to love those who love me. When you want to act like you got some sense, come on. And when you don't, I got something for you. That's
all right. All right, Cheryl. Chris, you're mentoring some different youth groups. Why don't you tell us about that? And then also, what kind of support do you receive, like, from the ladies in your life?
Great question. I work with Polished Pebbles, mostly here in Chicago, award-winning mentoring organization for girls. And literally, what is so empowering about it is that the emphasis on finding that space for girls of color to have opportunities and exposure to different ways in which they can advance in their careers, from STEM programs, as well as we have a pink hard hat program, so that introducing them to construction as an opportunity where the pay scale is always equal and balanced. And it's just, and there's not enough women present in that space. So that then that way, just having them look at ways in which they can think outside of the box. We have a program called Every Girl is a CEO, so that we are helping them understand that you are the leader of your destiny and your future. And so that the women in my life, and I mentioned my grandmother, on the show, being such a huge inspiration to me. Not to negate how wonderful my mother has been to me, but to say that me and my grandmother just have more in common. So we had the same sense of humor, more importantly. And so we could always giggle and kiki in the same way. And it was a much different experience than with my mom. So I think having those experiences growing up, and Bevy kind of touched on the idea that I felt that kind of love and I was embraced. So that then now being able to return that in the salon experience and loving on all of these women and their beauty efforts has been great, because then they return that back onto me, and how they actually fulfill me in my embrace of them and helping them reach their beauty goals. Then they're, helping me actually connect, and understand women. And so I think that by the time I'm able to write my book, it'll be very interesting, because it's going to be able to touch on how all of these lives and experiences have been so similar. And these women who sat in my chair have no idea how much they were just like the woman who just left out of the chair before them. They often see themselves as so different when they're so much alike. And that then my nurturing from them will allow me to share stories that will resonate for generations to come. Yeah.
Thank you for that. That's exciting. Thanks for sharing that.
Yeah.
Somebody in the chat is asking, does love give the panelists the spark and courage to help others? I thought that was an interesting question that kind of jumped out. Anybody want to respond to that?
I'll say for me, hope. While love is definitely something that I aspire for in terms of encouraging others, I actually move in hope and fairness. I like to be fair and hopeful.
For me, I'd say it's witnessing. I've always believed that each of us wants to have another human being catch our gaze and just witness us, not approve or disapprove, just witness. And so to me, for me personally, that's what I try to do, is really hold space for witnessing people and allowing them to be themselves, whatever that is. And I don't have any opinion about who they are. I'm just happy they're expressing who they are. So that's what encourages me to help others.
Excuse me.
Aaron, what's your thoughts?
How about you?
Aaron?
Does love give the courage to help others? I mean, I would have to say yes, but I my point of view is I am actually a religious person, and so I have this inner drive to. I always say, if anyone who really knows me, they know that my only goal in this life is to make it to heaven. That is what I say all the time. Nothing else matters. I just want to make it to heaven. So that is like the inner fuel for what drives me. Not many people know that. Only the people that know me very, very closely would know that. But yeah, that's.
Thank you for that. That is a new insight. How about you, Cheryl?
What was the question again? It does love
give you the fuel and the courage to support others.
Yeah, well, I believe that in my life, I've the pain that I have gone through. If I can keep one person, just one, from hurting like I've hurt when I was drowning in so much self-hatred, That's what I operate from. I can't do anything except operate from love. And the more you love, you learn yourself, the more you want to love as best you can. So you're going to help everybody you can. You're going to try to do everything you can to get along. And if you really, have healed, and that's all I can say. There's nothing better in life than to be of service. That's it. That's all it's about for me.
You know what, Cheryl? Aaron mentioned being very religious, and I understand that through some of our discussions in the past. You talked about your mom's connection to the church.
Yeah.
How has your being on the show or her church members' awareness of the show, has that had any impact? What's that been like?
Well, I recently saw her take a picture with one of the church members, and I thought they would have never taken that picture 9 times out of 10. She said that, they are more embracing her more now. I think because this illusion of success, TV show, it's amazing. We are so blessed to be here on this platform called, TV. But it truly is. I chased success for so many years. And it was all held back till I understood it could only be found inside. So this illusion of we're successful, we've made it, all of us on here. And so as we continue, I always say I'm a work in progress. My prayer is that I continue to grow and the Creator continues to work with me. But with the illusion of success, you'll have a lot of friends, a lot of people where they could care less about you. Now they call it like, I believed in. I'm like, I know. No, don't say it like that. I believed in you strong. I know. Why you hollering? I'm just saying. So
say, why you hollering?
Why you hollering? And it's just like love. It's just to really understand it. When you cross over to something, and I always say, we see all our lives, we looking on this little screen, and we see people in there that look like us. Subconsciously, I want it in there. I remember the Mickey Mouse Club. So yes, it is on the brain that all of us here have made it. But I think we've made it because we are growing on the show. Getting used to being with each other has been, definitely a work in progress. Just that. It's been great. It's been a good thing for all of us.
I have a question for Antonio. Given that you are a gay man in a gay relationship, you are married with two kids that I have met, 2 wonderful sons. How do you address Mother's Day with them?
Oh, interesting question. I don't address it particularly. They have a lot of women in their lives. So in growing up, they have a ton of grandmothers. So as you guys know, I was married before. So my kids are from my previous marriage with my former husband. So they have 2 grandmothers on that side. And then they have 2 grandmothers on my side with my mother and my stepmother. And then my current husband. So they have about 5 grandmothers, literally. And so they, the grandmothers get all the love, and the grandmothers have just adored them from the beginning. So they have this strong relationship with the grandmothers. As far as when they were in school, like elementary school, on Mother's Day, they would make us cards and bring them home. And so we'd celebrate. We didn't initiate that, but if they brought that to us, we'd celebrate Mother's Day. But Father's Day is now that's my day. No. But no, that's how we've handled it. So we didn't like step into that role and say, well, one of us is the mother or we're mothers. But in school, of course, when it's Mother's Day and all the kids are making cards and things, they would often make cards for us and bring home Mother's Day cards, and we embrace that and accept them and love it. So, what's interesting about being a same gender loving parent is we got the freedom to create a lot of things for ourselves. I mean, there's the traditions, and we don't scoff at tradition on its face, but we really had the freedom to create all kinds of opportunities. So thank you for asking that question, Aaron. I hadn't ever really thought about it in that context.
Can we read some of the? We just want to thank the fans, y'all. So everybody, you all that come to the after party, don't we love them, y'all?
Yes, so
Oh,
much love
absolutely.
in the comments. I see Christy saying, we will have a blessed life in our second life as well. Oh, okay. It's an honor and a privilege to be able to serve others. I saw some comments about, second season has been amazing so far. That's Amy. Christy says you are helping others.
Oh.
Lisa said, Antonio's like, they better come correct on Father's Day.
Any of the fans want to shout out to their mother? Can we say their mother's names on here?
Oh, that would be cool.
Chris, would you like to do that for the fans? Can you see?
Oh, I don't. I don't have anyone.
Okay. If any of the fam, they are family, want to say their mother's names, let's see. Pushing for season 3. So Amy Lynn, thank you.
Yeah, I just want to say it. This is the first week that I'm really seeing the comments. Every week I never see the comments, so I'm seeing them.
And I don't know where you guys are actually seeing them. I don't know that we're all seeing the same things. I don't know where you're reading that from. So
I'm with you, Chris. We'll have to have a. It took me 6 weeks, whatever week we in.
I'm just kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
But I just wanted to say in relationship to that,
let's wrap it up.
I'm really happy to have the fans join us in the after show. And that really, I think it's a testament to the show, but it also is an extension because they're committing an extra 30 minutes with us. And we want to make sure if you have suggestions of things you'd like us to cover in the after show, let us know. This is a great opportunity for us to be as interactive as possible. So
AJ just said his mom, shout out to his mother. Did you see that, Aaron?
Yes.
I want to see her name right. What is
Keisha.
And then the mothers that are in heaven that will always be on the shoulder of all of you. Yes, indeed. And for the mothers that have lost children and had to bury their child, that's me. You feel me? Always happy Mother's Day to all of you. Our kids are on our shoulders. Cheryl, stay in these comments. She tries to respond to all us. I simply, okay. I don't want to read no call. Thanks, y'all. Ask some questions. Let us know your mom's names. Melvin, that's Miss Florence. Melvin Rogers. Happy Mother's Day from your son, Melvin Rogers, Miss Florence.
And I want to shout out to all the people who are estranged from their families, all the queer, especially queer Black people, trans people, who they get kicked out of the home.
Yes.
Many do and end up on the streets and just struggling to survive. So I want to acknowledge that, a day like Mother's Day may be a trigger or a very unpleasant day, an unpleasant thought.
Yeah. And conversely, I'd like to say, and we should probably let go after this, but to just also say to those mothers who actually lean in and reach out to their LGBTQIA plus children, let's honor and reward them with our final thought and blessing for actually doing something that we're all aspiring to, so that we don't end on a negative note.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for that, Jill.
Amazing.
Okay. Happy Mother's Day, everyone.
God bless you guys.
See you next week.
Yes. Thank you.
Bye-bye.